3, 2, 1.
And now, you're tuned into the Navarro-Miller Report, featuring the hottest in news, entertainment, sports, and all those topics for the mainstream audience. The Navarro-Miller Report.
Examine your reality.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Navarro-Miller Report. I'm your host, Dave Navarro.
And I'm Jeremy Miller.
And with us today, we have a great honor to have a former retired wrestler, celebrity makeup artist, fitness model, MIDAJAH, with us here today. Thank you so much for joining us, MIDAJAH. How you doing? How you doing? You doing all right?
Dave, did you hear your intro just now?
Yeah, we hear it all the time whenever we come on. So,
You sound like Hulk Hogan.
I know, I try. I do the best I can. What can I say? Oh, let me tell you something, brother. Anyways, so how you doing, MIDAJAH? Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, I'm doing great. I can't really hear you.
Really? Are we having technical difficulties again? Jeremy, can you hear me?
I'm hearing both of you pretty good.
Yeah.
You sound like you're underwater at the moment.
Really? Okay. Something must be up. We'll go ahead and figure all this stuff out as we go along, because that's pretty much what happens on these live broadcasts. But anyways, as tradition would have it, we go ahead and we start the show always with a couple of videos here, a few TikTok videos here that we got going on, and the first one is a very it's a very interesting one, actually. You know what, I'm just gonna let it speak for itself and let you guys go ahead and see what you think. Now that right there, let me tell you, that's the light that's the gift that keeps on giving, in my opinion. I'll be perfectly honest. What do you think, Jeremy?
I don't know. Might be a good gift for a teenage boy. I'm not sure.
That teenage boy would continuously keep doing that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you'd have some pretty high energy bills.
Yeah, no kidding. And looks like, oh my God, you know what's going on? I'll be perfectly honest with you. That I believe that these types of gifts are, I don't know, sometimes I think that they're just gag gifts to see what exactly the person's going to go ahead and do or say whenever they have it in their hand. No pun intended. So
Are you kidding? I think that is the perfect white elephant gift.
Yeah, baby. Austin agrees. What about you, MIDAJAH? What do you think? Oh, MIDAJAH, something's up with her audio.
Something's wrong with the mic.
On our end, we're okay. It might be something going on your end, probably with the headset. If you want, you could go ahead.
Sounds like this.
Oh man. How about this? How about you go ahead and you want to go ahead and go and come back? She can't hear me. We're having like some. We're having like some.
Can you hear me?
Do you want me to go out and come back? Maybe. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we got that covered. Sometimes, sorry about that, folks. Sometimes when this thing goes on, it just tends to take a mind of its own, and so we can't really do much about that. But you know what it is, Jeremy? I think the problem is has to do with the weather, because it's been raining these past couple days. That's a problem.
We've run into that a few times. I'm not sure why that seems to be affecting things, but the times we've had the most technical issues have definitely been the times where we've had high winds and rain and stuff like that. So
yeah, and you know what's funny is that I have everything hardwired. I have absolutely everything hardwired. So the fact of the matter that that is going on, it has to be something on their end that they need to fix, to be honest with you. So, I mean, let me see. We got her back again. Let's see what happens. Can you hear us?
I can hear you, but for some reason, it sounds so muffled that I can barely understand what you're saying. I don't know why.
It's well, we were saying that it has a lot to do with probably the weather. It has probably a lot to do with the weather. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know. It's
Are you
kind
doing
of
this on purpose?
No, not at all.
I wouldn't put it past him, but no, I don't.
Not
think
this
so.
time. Not this
Is
time.
this one of the new sounds that you?
No, I got my limits. Okay, I don't go that far. I don't go that far. I have my own limits on here. So, but no, I mean, well, can you hear Jeremy pretty well?
Are you able to hear me okay, or does it still sound really, really muffled?
I think she's trying to. She's trying to like
You
put
sound like one of those deep sea monsters.
deep sea monsters.
Underwater.
Interesting.
Talking really slow like this.
So, in other words, you're trying to tell me that I sound like Dory from Finding Nemo when she's trying to speak whale.
I mean, I guess it could be kind of sexy, you know, but
Don't give him
voice I would
ideas.
have chose.
Don't
But
give him
hey.
ideas.
Oh my God, it's so bad. It's so bad. So bad. Anyways, well, can you hear us right now, MIDAJAH?
I can make out every other word.
Every other word. Well, we're gonna have to like see
About
if we
10
can.
minutes ago, it was perfect.
It's probably because we. Well, again, well, it's the problem is like I said, it's one of those situations where, unfortunately, there's technical difficulties with the app because it's been raining. So that's probably the reason why it's been so difficult. But if you could hear Jeremy,
Technical
great.
difficulty?
Yeah,
I
with
got
the
that.
rain
Did
and
you
everything.
say technical difficulty?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can
so-
try and read lips.
Oh, it's gonna be a long
I can try
show.
and read your lips.
It's gonna be a long show. Well, for the time being, let's go ahead and move on. We have another TikTok video that we could go ahead and put on real quick. This is another very interesting one that I found, and yeah, it's definitely interesting. Go ahead and take a look.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, I just found out Canada isn't real.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
What makes you think that?
I mean, it just turns out it was all just maple leaf.
Oh my god!
That deserved that right there. Okay, that deserved the rim shot for that one. It turns out it was all maple leaf. Anyways, so Jeremy, was that as corny as it could get?
I was as corny as can be. I was wondering where she was going with that, but that one was funny. I gotta say, I liked it.
Nah, it's yeah, TikTok. Do better, TikTok. Do better. Actually, this TikTok coming up right here is something that I'm very guilty of doing from time to time whenever I'm on the phone with somebody. After a while, I kind of go into mode. Something that a friend of mine used to say, and that's when, you know, somebody's talking, I'm like, and it goes into mode. Oh, it looks like I think we might have lost MIDAJAH here. But yeah, check this out. This is something that I'm sure many of us are guilty of.
Since he hit my mom, I thought it's only fair I hit his.
Totally, girl.
So what do you think I should do? What's your advice?
Huh?
Huh?
My advice?
Yeah.
Can you repeat, like, the last thing you said?
Girl, I'm gonna just call you back.
I mean, I honestly, I gotta say that I am guilty of doing that from time to time. I definitely am. I mean, Jeremy, have you ever been guilty of suddenly just zoning out in the middle of a conversation? Be honest.
Pretty much every time you and I are talking. So
you will get that. You will get that. In the news.
He's so impressed with himself, folks.
I love this thing. You don't understand. It's so much fun, and yay. Anyways,
you loved the little fart box noise sound thing when you were a kid, didn't you?
You
walked around with one of those, didn't you?
You mean like one of those?
You see what I'm dealing with here, folks?
I can't help myself. I can't. You gotta love me for a reason. I don't know what that reason is, but you gotta love me for it.
I'll figure it out one of these days.
Eventually you'll figure it out. In entertainment news, looks like Travis Scott is pretty much denying any type of fault for what happened at Astroworld. He actually went on to Charlemagne the God's show and basically claims that he, it says on TMZ.com, it says Travis claims his quote in-ear told him to end the show after the guest, aka Drake, and that he was never told how bad things were in the crowd. Now, right there, that's something that, to be honest with you, is a cop-out. And I know, Jeremy, that's something that you will probably agree with as well, because this is something that, that basically it's not right that he's going to back away from that.
Personally, I know, like I said, I've said this before. I have many friends who have been in very big, bands and groups and have performed all over the world for, hundreds of thousands of people. Yes, it's difficult to see what's going on in the crowd. It's difficult to hear what's going on in the crowd. But to say he bears no responsibility, this is a man who encourages violence and chaos at his shows. He's done this. There's
police records of him being charged.
It's on record. Yeah, exactly. He has a history of stirring shit up, and you don't get to stir up the pot and then go, "Oh, but I didn't do anything."
I didn't hear anything.
It's an absolute cop-out. And on top of that, there's video showing somebody very close to him on the stage saying people are dying.
Not only that, but he claims he didn't know how bad it was. He claims that, or from what I understand, I think he also said that, and this is by no means a quote, but he said that he didn't hear anything or something like that when they have him on video basically saying, to stop the show, and he's like, I'm not going to stop anything. So he could clearly hear that something was going on, but he chose not to do anything about it. And I think that's going to come back and bite him really bad when it comes time for court.
That's how it looks to me. And again, even if you get away from the, he didn't know what was going on, he couldn't hear, the fact is, he basically ran into a crowded stadium, yelled fire, and then wants to say, but I'm not responsible for people getting trampled. He encourages this behavior. So yes, you do bear responsibility, plain and simple.
Unbelievable. Cindy Stark is on the line right there, and she's saying, but he's paying for all the funerals. That's still not going to absolve him out of the 9 deaths, though. Paying for all the funerals, that's nothing compared to the damage that he caused. There's still people that were also injured. Not just dead, but there's people that were injured as well. And to be honest, this is just a way for him to use that in court by saying, but I paid, for the funerals. Doesn't that give me some brownie points?
It smacks of a PR move to me. That's what it smells like. It's just a PR move to try and manage the damage, basically.
Absolutely.
You know how I feel about this. Anybody who literally encourages violence and chaos at their shows, and that you don't get to be shocked that violence and chaos happen. It's that simple.
Did you ever encourage violence and chaos on the set of Growing Pains?
Are you joking? We're the most vanilla white bread show around. There's no violence and chaos. We were as no matter what Kirk began to believe near the end, how he believed our show was evil and all that. Now, we were one of the most wholesome. Please, we never had anything like that.
Aww.
And even in my crazy psychotic days, my anger, rage days of my early youth, never encouraged anybody else. I was just the sometimes violent moron.
Sometimes?
Shut up. Shut up.
Oh, come on!
I'm a changed man. I am a very peaceful person now. Don't
I believe in nothing but peace and love for all of you. Guy went Gandhi on me all of a sudden. What is the matter with you?
Oh, when you were as bad as I was, you go as hard as you can the opposite direction.
Oh my God. One other thing too that actually, and this is something that just popped up right now. Cindy just reported that there was another smash and grab today. Man, what is going on? I mean, it's almost like it's like looting, but it's progressive looting is what's going on.
Here's the thing. They've been able to prove, I mean, not prove in court yet, but the authorities have enough evidence that this is all being organized by organized crime. So these are not random events. These are not random people showing up and looting. This is organized, planned mass robberies. Now, I don't know which organizations are behind it. I mean, there's every, criminal organization in the world is here. I mean, we've got the Russian mob, the everybody. So they have enough proof to show that this is being organized by, organized crime families and that type of business. This is not just random looting. This is a planned attack, and it's a very planned mass robbery. So yeah, it's a very weird thing. It's going to be tough for the police to stop because it is so appearingly random, but it's crazy right now.
There's somebody that posted on Instagram actually how one of the police chiefs or something like that is saying that this is kind of like the purge. He actually did say that. He said that this is like the purge, and I'm just like, that's not something you want to say on live television or to a news.
Let's not give people ideas, please.
And that's exactly what he was doing. And I'm like, and then the feed was just of people saying, oh, well, that's LA for you. It's just getting worse. I'm like, really getting worse? Dude, did you live here in the 80s? Because I'm pretty sure it's pretty bad then, too. Nothing's changed.
The other part of that is it's actually happening all over the nation. So it's not just happening here. It is literally happening all over the nation in almost every major metropolitan city.
But of course, LA is always the easy one to blame because, when in doubt, blame LA, blame Californians. I mean, it is what it is. Blah blah. Anywho, but in other news, you got a story for us coming from Florida, Jeremy.
Yeah, actually, from a college in Daytona, Florida, it seems some students alerted authorities to some questionable Snapchat posts and conversations and may have very well stopped a mass shooting. A young man was arrested. This was at Embry-Riddle Aeronautic University in Daytona, and a gentleman by the name of John Higgins, who was 19 years old, was arrested on a tip from some of his fellow students who were concerned. And he was caught leaving his dorm or his residence with a collapsible rifle,
Jeez.
2 magazines, and a backpack full of ammo. So he had talked about a mass shooting. He sold his car to be able to purchase his rifle and all his ammo and everything else, and was talking online about committing a mass attack. So it seems that this one has been thwarted. It was done so by some consciously minded people who saw this and brought it to the the attention of the authorities. And this guy will probably be going to jail for a while.
Wow.
Thank God these people, paid attention and actually spoke up, because this could have been pretty nasty.
No, without a shadow of a doubt. And it seems that, it gets to a point where people are just sick and tired of these types of things happening, to the point where it's like now the younger generation is like, we need to start reporting every little thing that happens. We cannot look at things so lightly anymore, to the point where it's like, oh, well, it is what it is. But, thank God that they went ahead and they stopped that. We got MIDAJAH back on. Let's see if we could go ahead and bring her in, see if she can talk with us here. She can hear us. Hey, MIDAJAH, how you doing?
Hey guys, how are you? Sorry about that.
And your dog's in the background right now. Is your dog fighting with somebody?
He hears somebody. I'm sorry.
It's crazy. It's like, I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting. Something.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. You're gonna tick her dogs off.
my gosh, I tried so hard on my headpiece. I tried on.
But the important thing is that you can hear us, and we can hear you, and you can see us, and we can see you.
You guys perfectly.
Yay!
And Bandit clearly hears somebody.
Nice.
He's 1 year old. He's 130 pounds, and he's a Cagna Corso Mastiff. So he's still in training. Yeah, he's
Big sweet
Big dog.
He's probably walking outside.
Oh, that dog's going bananas. That dog is going bananas right now. That dog's like, hell no, we won't go. You know, it's gonna be doing that.
Protecting mommy. So you want me to come back?
No, you-
Let me just step out for 1 minute.
oh, she got the Latina coming over here right now. The Latina's coming out. Watch yourselves, people. Watch yourselves. Well, thanks for being back with us, MIDAJAH. So happy to have you back on. We were actually just chatting right now, getting into the news of everything that's going on. Cindy's on the stream right now saying, Dave the Instigator. You know what, Cindy? That's right. I am the instigator. That's me right here. Anyways, dog's like, "Arr."
Yeah, Bandit's like, hey, mom, someone's outside.
Nice. So, anywho, moving on to other news that we got going on right here. Rebel Wilson, she basically is talking about how her camp was actually against her, or not against her, but they didn't have her back when it came to losing the weight that she did. She lost a lot of weight. She lost like about 80 pounds, something like that. And apparently her camp wanted her to remain the fat friend, the fat comical friend for on-screen time and everything, because I guess she got paid. Because of that, she got paid a lot of money for that. But here's the thing. How are you going to go ahead and not be able to be happy for her for the accomplishment that she made, regardless if she's trying to be on TV or anything like that? How could you not be? How could you be against that? I mean, she's trying to look out for her health. She's trying to better herself. Actually, she was trying to. It's had something to do with freezing her eggs because she wants to have children. So it had a lot to do with so many things that's why she chose to go ahead and lose this weight. So I mean, you know, you can't be against somebody for that. You really can't, Jeremy.
Well, I'm unfortunately not shocked by this at all. You know, I mean, I'm absolutely in support of her doing whatever she needs to do to be healthier and happier. You know, as somebody who's carried a lot of extra weight before, it puts a real toll on your body and it makes it really hard to enjoy your life. It really does. But unfortunately, I'm not shocked. You know, the fact is, people's teams, you know, the people who are supposed to be behind you in this business are looking out for themselves. They're looking out for their paychecks. That's their concern.
Fair. I don't think that's fair. She deserves to have all the support in the world. You know, it's really difficult as a female, first of all, to change your identity in that way. And my hat's off to her. She looks absolutely beautiful. And it takes a lot of work and dedication to, you know, commit to your nutrition, your exercise, your lifestyle change. And I think she looks absolutely amazing.
I mean,
well, I couldn't agree more with you, MIDAJAH. It's just the problem is, I mean, you've been around the entertainment industry, you've done the modeling and the people who are that you can't trust most of the people around you in this business, whether they say they're working for you or not. It's they're looking out for themselves. I mean, look at oh my goodness. The comedian May, big guy. I cannot believe I'm blanking on his name.
No worries, I got something for you.
2 hours later.
Is when you'll actually figure that out.
But, you know, he was pushing 450 pounds as a stand-up comedian. And his team, when he tried to lose weight, didn't want him to because they were afraid it was going to hurt what he could talk about in comedy and hurt his act. And, you know, you've had people who are alcoholics and drug addicts who are being encouraged in that behavior by their own people because it's what sells and it's their image. And it's absolutely horrific. It really is.
But here's what I like. This is backwards here because I mean, usually they're pushing women to lose weight for parts. In her case, they were pushing her to keep the weight on, not lose it. And now she looks fantastic. She always looked fantastic. She was always a very beautiful, young woman. And now she looks better. And now it's like, oh, why did you lose all the weight? You were doing better as a funny fat friend. I'm like, come on, dude. You're calling her pretty much a funny fat friend. That's an insult, and that's very.
She's gorgeous. She's funny. She's witty, and I mean, my hat's off to her, seriously, because that's a lot of work and dedication, and it's a discipline and a new way of life. You have to change your eating habits, change your mind frame, and more than anything, you have to have self-compassion and self-love. You know what I'm saying? That's hard. I'm happy for her.
And you know all about that too, because I mean, you were like, not only were you a fitness model, MIDAJAH, but you were also in the WCW. You were a professional wrestler. You were Scott Steiner's valet, and Scott Steiner, that dude is freaking. That dude's a Big Papa Pump. That guy was a massive man right there, So you had to like stay, fit the entire time. I mean, partly you actually, I would have to say that you actually, you like being fit. I can, I mean, that's something that I'm sure.
It's a lifestyle. I just got used to eating a certain way. And, I love to, what I call, eat a little bit and enjoy, like my popcorn and, have a little bit of cake or chocolate here and there, if it's gluten-free because I have an allergy, but for the most part I have to eat healthier, and because I've become accustomed to that, I feel sick if I don't. But for the average person, that's not a lifestyle for them. They like to enjoy a little bit of everything. You have your breakfast, and sometimes they have pancakes or whatever. Lunchtime they'll have a sandwich, so there's more carbohydrates, and then dinner they might have some rolls with dinner. And for the average person, those are normal meals. But when you're on stage and you're in front of thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and let me tell you, they're honest when you're there a few feet away, you can hear them. It's a discipline, and you have to eat your 5-6 meals a day, every 3 to 4 hours, weighing them out by the ounces, having your carbohydrates being just vegetables, except in the morning. You can have a little bit of rice, and it's a different way of life. And because that was my job. So when it's your job and when it's your career, you dedicate yourself to that. Afterwards, I went on a tangent and just enjoyed everything that you can think of. And then I had to find a balance. So
feed me.
The healthiest thing is having a balance, because you can go to two extremes. You can be extremely, a health nut, and where you're taking your food with you to the movie theater, and it's just a little crazy, and people are turning around like, oh my God, what smells? And I'm eating egg whites and tuna. You can't do that. And then the other extreme is just eating bad all the time. So everything has a balance. And so
everything. And I see, like, we see you right here holding the U.S. title right there, the WCW U.S. title right there. And then of course we see you holding the WCW World Heavyweight title. That thing must have weighed a ton right there for you. Next to the late great Mean Gene Okerlund right there, getting interviewed by he's interviewing Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner.
So much fun.
Oh, I bet you were there for what, 3 years?
Guns ever. Oh my gosh, he was like 300 pounds, and 5'11" or 6 feet tall. He was ginormous. But I'll have to tell you, he had so much discipline in his workout, in his diet, the way that he ate. I was in awe watching him when we were on the road, how he carried himself and how he trained himself to eat and his workouts. And that's why he looked the way that he did,
Yeah, his bicep alone is the size of my head. So I mean, it's ginormous. It's like you're gonna kill me now, aren't you? But anyways,
I was very intimidated when I first met him and when I started working with him. And he's a giant teddy bear. He was the biggest sweetheart ever. Seriously, he's my best friends.
That's awesome, though. That's awesome. Well, going back to what we were talking about, big ups to Rebel Wilson. Good for her for doing what she's doing.
Absolutely.
And
she's beautiful.
Oh yeah, totally. And I hope that she continues to, to do what she wants to do. Make herself feel good about what you do. If you feel, my thing is this: if you feel good about the way you look and what you do, then keep doing it. If you don't, do something about it. and Rebel Wilson did something about it. So, kudos to her on that. In other news, bank teller goes gambling. Jeremy, what in the freaking hell happened there?
I'm having trouble believing this one, really, and it sounds like a gambling addiction to me.
Tell me the juicy story. I gotta hear this.
So we have a 41-year-old woman who worked at a bank and apparently embezzled over $200,000 from this bank right out of the vault and took it to the casinos in Alabama gambling. Not only that, but after she was fired from the job, she got a job as a bookkeeper for a school and stole another $13,000 from teachers who needed that money for the school and supplies for the kids and everything else. I mean, this, I don't even know what to say.
Background check on her, like, hello.
Well,
dude, seriously,
she's been convicted now, so she will never be allowed to work in any field where she's in control of money again. It's part of the stipulation of her sentence. She has to pay back. I think it's $216,000 she has to repay.
Wow.
And again, my first thought was, what are you thinking? I mean, you're going to get caught. You really think you can take money from a vault at a bank that you work at and not get caught? But that's what leads me to believe that it's an addiction, truly. This sounds so outlandish that I honestly believe this person had to have been a gambling addict. Someone who
without a shadow of a doubt,
who had no self-control anymore because they had to feed that addiction. That's, in my mind, the only way this could have gone down.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. It was something that, that's shocking. That is shocking. I cannot believe.
That's outrageous.
Mm-hmm. Vegas, baby. Why did you go to the casino in where was it? Alabama?
Well, that's where she lives. That's where the bank was, and there's lots of gambling and riverboats and stuff like that down south. People don't realize there's a lot of opportunities for gambling at some of the smaller casinos and also along riverboats. There's almost no regulation for setting up a barge with casino stuff on it and letting people gamble there. So she
straight up was working one day, decided to steal the money and just go. Pretty much. That's what she said, and she was out. She was out after that. Yes, this is me having fun. No, it was not.
Get away with that, or do you think she was just having fun? Like, ooh, let me just see.
I honestly think I don't think she thought she'd get away with it. I honestly think it was an addiction move. It was no different than somebody who just needed that fix and did whatever they could to get it. That's what I believe, because I don't think unless she is just one of the most arrogant and dumb people on the face of the earth, there's no way she could believe she's going to get away with this.
Well, we go from that crazy outlandish story to another crazy Jeremy, where are you finding these crazy stories? Got another one right here.
Jeremy, bring it.
It's nuts. We have another one actually having to do with a senator, mind you, pushing mouthwash as COVID cure. I mean, this is something that is just so.
Ooh, let's hear it. The COVID cure. This ought to be fun.
Yeah. So we have Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, who's already had almost all of his social media banned for promoting false cures, bogus cures, and all this. He was one of the big promoters of hydroxychloroquine or whatever the hell that was. And, he thought, Trump's idea of bleach was a good idea. I mean, this guy's really been out there. He's really been out there. And I can't believe, I wish I was shocked that he's a senator, but we're getting more and more of these people, and it just blows me away. It really does. So his new theory is that because high alcohol mouthwash can kill bacteria and stuff, that it is going to prevent COVID. Now, there has been a moderate amount of data that shows that it can possibly reduce some amount of the virus in the mouth. The problem is, the only way this could possibly be effective is if you were macking on somebody who had COVID and knew it and then decided to rinse your mouth with, freaking Listerine right afterwards. Because otherwise, it's already gotten into you. if you drink it, it's not going to kill it.
No.
And I mean, it's not going to do anything. And again, most people who get it, they have shown it comes from inhaled particles, which are getting into your lungs and getting into everything else. So
Wait,
again,
are they saying to swish your mouth with it or to drink it?
well, they didn't exactly clarify. That's the problem as well. They didn't exactly clarify that.
The
part.
problem with
So-
that is that they need to clarify. Otherwise, people will be like, look, like just taking it down the hill.
People and kids are going to drink it like, hey, it stopped.
Yeah.
I'm going to drink it and go party.
It's an incredibly reckless and irresponsible thing to come out and try and say. What kills me is all these people wanting to promote these possibly harmful things that they're telling people to go do are the same people who won't listen to the medical professionals about how to do this. And that's what I can't get my head around. I mean, seriously, people, you're going to take the word of a senator, the least trustworthy people on the planet. I mean, politicians are literally so untrustworthy that lawyers look at them and go, oh, that's some shady shit.
Gosh.
I mean, that's and these are the people that you're going to take your medical advice from, rather than the people who have dedicated their lives, have gone into immense amounts of debt because in their heart.
Are they saying, are they saying don't get a vaccine, go get mouthwash?
Well, that's most of the people who have been promoting, even these, especially these senators, most of the ones who've been promoting all of these bogus claims are also anti-vax and anti-mask. So again, people, why are you taking your advice, medical advice, from the least trustworthy human beings on the planet, politicians? And I'm not talking about left or right. I'm talking about politicians. They're all dirty. There's nothing to trust in a politician. I'm sorry. So why are you taking medical advice from them? People go to medical school for years and years of study. You know why they do that? Yes, there are some people who are looking for the big paycheck at the end of the day. But the way the medical industry has changed, even the people going to medical school now know that that is not going to happen. They're not going to be rolling in the Benjamins.
Unless they're private practice.
Unless
that's
they're
the only other
completely
way.
private practice.
Yeah.
People dedicate themselves to the medical profession because they care, because they want to make people's lives better, and because they want to help people. That's why they go hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s in debt. That's why they spend damn near 18 years in school on, trying to learn this stuff. And yet you don't trust them. You trust a politician. Get your head out of your butt. Seriously.
And all these young people are going to listen and go, I'm going to go get my mouthwash.
Yep. I mean, because they're trying to avoid what's the reality of everything that's going on right now. That's the problem. So unfortunately, they try to look for a way out of it in order to avoid what they need to do. So I mean, it's very, very reckless. It's very, and of course, if somebody ends up doing something like this, there's going to be no accountability. They're going to be like, well, we technically didn't tell anybody to drink it, but if they did, that's their own choice. So.
Oh my God. They're like, why did I get a rash? Why I got a rash?
Ew. Anyways, that's just crazy talk. In other news, that's just seriously crazy talk right there, Jeremy. I can't believe that. In other news, there was a few lights going over the Pacific. UFOs were seen over the Pacific by an airplane of some kind, and that was actually just kind of like the weirdest thing, because it was like, everybody thought that they were flares at first. They thought it were flares, but the way the video, because this is on TMZ, the way the video was filmed, because it was filmed by pilots, they were seeing this over the Pacific over clouds, and they were so in line with one another. It almost seemed like it was like maybe the taillights of an object. It was just, they were just so in sync with one another. It was weird. It was like the eeriest thing. I mean, Jeremy, actually, I'm going to pass this one over to MIDAJAH, because I know MIDAJAH knows a lot of she believes in a lot of this kind of stuff. I do too. I personally don't believe that we're alone in this universe. MIDAJAH, we've talked about this before. We're not alone in this universe. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on these lights that people were seeing over the Pacific not too long, like a couple of days ago?
I mean, they're either testing something, or there's little Martians out there. There's another life out there.
Ready?
They're keeping an eye on us.
I will go ahead and minimize your puny planet. Sorry, that's my Marvin the Martian voice.
I don't think we're alone. I think there's some ETs out there. But I mean, was it a pilot that had captured this, or was it a passenger?
No, it was a pilot. It was a pilot. He was flying the thing, and he was actually talking, saying that, yeah, this is weird. What's going on right here? There was like lights. Here's the thing. A lot of people that believe in superstition often believe that and this is kind of a weird coincidence, but the last time, like, some people believe that when they see these type of unidentified flying things overhead, it usually is a bad omen for the following year. And the last time people saw any of these lights was in 2019, right before 2020 went through. So I mean,
Please no.
would you think that, Jeremy? Jeremy's a skeptic. I don't think he believes in any of in not the superstition part, but I know that you believe that we're not alone in the universe, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, I've said it many times. I think to believe that we are the only intelligent life out there, that we are completely alone, is a rather arrogant thought. You know, I mean, with all the vast possibilities, with the vast amount of space, I mean, we don't even know what the heck's in the oceans of our own planet, because it's so vast and so deep. And you're telling me that you know 100% for sure that there's nothing out there in all those billions of space miles and everything else? Please. So first of all, let me get that out of the way. Yes, I do believe it's likely, or at least possible.
I believe it.
But I also believe most of these events are explainable by a lot of different things. The last 2 or 3 that they've had were caused by, you know, a gas weather balloon that blew up, and they saw the reflections of this and that and the other thing. So I believe most of the time there is a very reasonable and rational reason for this. And the other reason I feel like it seriously is, have you looked around at your neighbors and the people who surround you in this planet right now? I mean, we are some of the dumbest people around. Do you really think an advanced, you know, race who has mastered space travel and all of this has any interest in us? I mean, the only thing we can do is bring it down for them. I mean, I don't get.
Have you seen the alleged abductees? They're like, well, I was right there over that field there, and at the same time, I saw this bright light, and I tell you what, you know, like, that's pretty much the average abductee from what I've seen on television in the past.
All I can say is you don't see a heck of a lot of CEOs claiming to have been abducted. You know, you don't see a lot of business leaders and doctors. It's, you know, usually somebody way out in a field has had a few, you know, that kind of thing. So
the cow tipping type.
Hey, don't be ragging on my cow tipping friends.
Hey,
No.
I mean, at the end of the day, you know, if the cow fits. Anyways, well, I mean, it's still something that was very interesting to see, to be honest with you. I saw the video. Quite frankly, they were saying that it was like a flare from a plane, but usually whenever planes throw out flares, they dim out and they disappear. This was consistent. This is like one of those like lights that just kept on like blinking, and they were all in sync with one another. Like, it was a line of them. So I don't know. It's difficult to explain. I just dropped my water. It's difficult to explain. It didn't spill anything. God for that. So it's difficult to explain. But I mean, suffice it to say, there was something strange that happened over the skies of the Pacific, and you know, we may or may not be alone. So I don't know. In other news, something actually that's close to your heart, Jeremy. I mean, because you know you were in a series that lasted for many years, just like Jennifer Aniston was on Friends. She actually had some concerns after Friends ended about being typecasted. She was in an interview not too long ago where she says, quote, "I was the girl next door, the damsel in distress, the brokenhearted, your traditional rom-com themes. And at a certain point, it was like, can't we do something else? Am I just on this part of the cereal aisle? Like, I will never get to be a bountiful kashi or some sort of oatmeal. Or am I going to be a Fruit Loops for forever?" Very colorful description of what she pretty much saw. And even when she went to the reunion, the Friends reunion that happened a couple of months ago, she even had to. They said that they had to cut a couple of times. She even said, "I can't believe they edited it so well," because she had to stand up and leave a couple of times because I guess it brought back some, not. Other than pleasant memories, her being there. Now, Jeremy, you were on Growing Pains for many years. Do you feel her pain on this? Like, did you feel the same way?
I absolutely did. I mean, it can be very, very difficult to break out of a role that you've done for so long. Your fan base and even the people in the industry look at you in a certain way. So I was typecast for quite a while after, Growing Pains went down. The type of roles that I was offered were all very much the same. I had a very small chance to break out of it when I was hired by Days of Our Lives. And 2 days before we were supposed to sign the contracts, they decided not to introduce the character and go a completely different way with the storyline. So I missed out on that opportunity, but it would have been a great opportunity to break out of the, Ben Seaver, boy next door, mischievous kid typecast. And I did have that for quite a long time. I didn't start breaking out of that until I got older and people started offering me, looking at me for the dad roles and stuff like that. It was a natural change with age and everything else. But as a kid and as a teenager, it was very hard to get out of that. So I definitely feel her pain on that. She also talked about in that same interview that we're discussing, she talked about how rough a lot of the fans have been on her and, the speculation that goes on. And again, this is something, it doesn't even have to do with people in the entertainment industry. It's about everybody. You never know what someone else is dealing with. Okay. She said, she took it really personally, how everybody was constantly speculating on, whether she was going to have kids. Can she have kids? Can they, what business is it of yours? First of all, second of all, you have no idea what she's dealing with. And she even said that. I mean, she might not be able to have kids. She might have some medical condition. There's 1,000 different things and fans were treating it like it's,
bullshit,
I mean, and I'm sorry to cut you off here, but I mean, and during the time that Friends was ending, or during the last couple of seasons, she was also going through a very public divorce with Brad Pitt. So there was a lot of stuff that was going on in her personal life that was made very public to a lot of people, and she was getting scrutinized for it, which was very unfair, to this woman.
That's a lot to take.
Unfortunately, it is part of the trade-off in this business now. I mean, you do know. I mean, if you're going to hit it big in this business, your life is no longer your own. But there needs to be a line. Fans need to understand there needs to be a line. You're not entitled to every last detail about the people you watch. You're not. It's not a right. You have no business knowing anything they don't want to share with you.
You're entitled to some privacy.
I mean, and I mean, for both of you, for you, Jeremy, and for you, MIDAJAH, your privacy pretty much, it was tough for you. I'm sure, MIDAJAH, it was tough for you because I mean, you were definitely in the public eye. You had a lot of people that were watching, like you had eyes on you a lot. During your time, with WCW. I mean, that must have been something that you must have been going like, kind of like, leave me be for a little bit here. I mean, how did you take all that?
I just tried to stay private and know that, whenever they disliked something, it's because they disliked the character that I was playing. And if Scotty and I were up against their favorite character, then I wasn't their favorite anymore. Fans can be cruel. They love you one minute and then the next minute they're upset with you because of the character that you're playing. So you just kind of have to separate yourself and know that you're playing a part and you are not that character.
And I saw you a couple times too. You're a mean character.
I had to play a badass bitch. Sorry.
So nasty. She was just
bad girl. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she was just so nasty. I was just waiting for major cat fight. Because I was like freaking nuts. Like that whole thing during the WCW time. Jeremy, don't give me that look.
It was so much fun. It really was. I had the time of my life.
That's awesome.
I got to work with some really, really great people. And backstage, we were all friends, you know.
That's really cool.
Some people had their beef, but they're pros. They're working together. You have to get along. It's like chartering a huge flight of all of your classmates that you're with together. You know, of course, there's going to be personalities that bump and don't quite get along, but everyone, for the most part, this is their job. So they're going to be respectful to one another for the most part, unless you've got Scotty coming out and he's, pissed off at somebody. Well,
yeah, you don't want to piss off Big Papa Pump. That guy, I would not want to be in the wake of his wrath. That guy looks like he could be like, "Hi, how you doing? You're squished. Goodbye."
Everyone was very respectful with one another.
That's good.
When it came to fans, you're there to entertain. And so it was, I enjoyed myself when I was signing autographs or meeting them. I was very grateful, and I was super humble about it because, it's not, it doesn't have a long lifespan for women. You know?
That's
so
very true.
I really, truly enjoyed it. But I feel for Jeremy and Jennifer Aniston. They were in it much longer, and I'm sure that affected you sometimes when people thought that they knew you personally and the character.
Well, it's a double-edged sword too, because you want to connect with the fans.
Right.
The fact that I got to meet so many amazing people over the years who felt like they already knew me, who felt like we were best friends.
Right.
And most people were very respectful for that. They really were. How I ended up meeting one of my very best friends. Dave has met him, my buddy Dr. Brandon Phillips. Long story, but he was he was a Starlight Wish kid, and he loved the show so much, loved my character, and loved the family aspect of our show so much. His wish when he got put on the wish list was to come meet me on set.
Beautiful. I feel like seriously, that has to be so rewarding.
It is. And him and I have formed a lifelong friendship from that. And he actually made it through his disease, his heart defect, and he's still doing it today. He's a pediatric cardiologist taking care of kids who had the same problems he had. But that kind of thing is very rewarding, and getting to know your fans, especially if you're a people person. I mean, that was my favorite thing to do. I mean, when we did the show on tape days, we had a line of 200 to 300 people that would be waiting outside the studio, waiting to get in for us to do a live taping. Yeah. And if I didn't have a lot of episodes or a lot in that show, or I was on a break, or I wasn't in school at that moment, I'd take a chair and go sit at the line and just sit there and talk to everybody and see how they were doing and engage and everything else. And I loved getting to do that. But it is a double-edged sword. You get people who feel they are entitled to more,
right? And
that is it's not true. I'm sorry, you're not entitled to anything except maybe some courtesy and
Ooh, dog went nuts. I don't think the dog agreed with you on that.
Yeah, well,
you're absolutely right. I have to say, when it came to the female wrestlers, and we were done with the show, there was always security guiding us back when we would go back to our hotel. And usually when you walked in the hotel, it was filled with fans, and they all wanted to see their favorite wrestlers. And for me, the most rewarding was the children. When you see the children and they're holding a toy, or they're holding an action figure that they want you to sign and they want your picture, that touched my heart. And so, yeah, those are really fun memories.
So I have to ask, actually, Jeremy, which version did I get? I got gypped in this whole deal with you. I mean, I got the worst version of Ben Seaver, I mean, what the heck? What kind of version did I get?
You didn't get any version. You got the real thing, buddy. By the time you came into my life, I was already starting to go through recovery. I was already starting to deal with my addiction and things like that. And because of that, I had two options. I could either go completely private and keep it all to myself, or I could be a complete open book and try and help some people who were going through the same kind of things I was. So at this point, I'm an open book. People know I don't have any privacy because I've shared every battle and every struggle, and I've been honest about it. I've been honest about my dark points and being a piece of crap at different times. And I mean, I'm an open book, and I had to go that way. But it doesn't mean that people are entitled to you going that way. People have a right to their privacy. I made a choice to lay myself open.
To share.
No, definitely. Like, all joking aside, man, I mean, I gotta say, I'll be honest with you that I think I met the best version of you. It would have been more. No, all joking aside, I'm not joking around. You know, I met the best version of you after your struggles and everything, and I'm glad I know you, man, because I mean, it's happy to see that, you know, you're real. Like, I like real people, and ever since the first time that I met you, I'm like, this dude's real. This dude, he ain't BSing. He ain't gonna go ahead and give the runaround or anything like that. That guy's real. He, you know, I guess that's the reason why we get along, and we don't get along at the same time. So
Exactly.
that's what family's for.
With me, you get what you get, and I can't do it any other way. One of my favorite, slogans from recovery is, tell the truth. You have less to remember.
That's awesome. That's a good slogan. That's a really good slogan.
I love that about you, and I think you're such an inspiration to so many people, and it gives them hope, and it helps them realize that it can happen to anybody,
Absolutely.
We're all human. At the end of the day,
But again,
we're all human.
On that point, nobody else is obligated to share their stories. That's the truth. Fans at this point, because of the level of connection and, again, social media and everything else, the amount of constant contact and glimpses, I'll say, not insight, they get into their favorite entertainer or performer's lives.
Right.
Like I said, most people are respectful about it, but a lot of people feel that they're entitled to that. They're entitled to know every last little thing.
True.
You're not. I'm sorry. It's whatever an entertainer wants to keep to themselves. That's their choice. I don't look down on anybody who hasn't shared their deepest and darkest with everybody. It's a hard thing to do. And honestly, I've gotten pushback, and, it's probably hurt me on a couple of jobs, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's scary. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you,
It's huge. It really, it's huge. It is. I mean, and to be vulnerable and to be able to put it out there and share, your deepest, darkest secrets, and it makes me emotional because it's not easy to do. It's not easy to do, and for that, I applaud you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Enough about me. Let's move on.
Yes, please. Anyways, unfortunately, we go into sports, and there's unfortunately some bad news in the world of sports this week. Former Broncos player Demaryius Thomas was found dead in his shower after suffering cardiac arrest. There was a 911 call, and they found the former Broncos player in the shower. And this is a huge thing. He you wouldn't believe that a person that's this fit would actually suffer from heart conditions, but you know what? This isn't the first time this has happened. I mean, Jeremy, there's been other players that have suffered through, heart failures and heart issues shortly after they play football. Is that a coincidence, or is that something that's common?
Well, again, not a doctor here, so I really can't speak to it on that end. I do know enough about CTE to know that it can cause seizures, which his family believes was the cause of the heart failure that he had. Seizures are a part of brain trauma, and I'm sorry, but the NFL is the leader in brain trauma in, short of boxing, probably, in the whole sports industry. We've had many people who've been suffering from this, who've died, from very weird and almost mysterious circumstances sometimes. So I'm not a doctor. I can't speak to how the trauma you put your body through as a football player every single day ends up costing you down the line. But does it make sense? It does.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, MIDAJAH, you work with a lot of, you've known a lot of bodybuilders. There's been Eddie Guerrero was another one that died, according to what reports said, that he died of a heart problem. He died in his sleep, actually. And I'm sure, he worked for WCW as well. I don't know if you met him or dealt with him or anything like that. But it happens with a lot of these big dudes, like these big guys, especially in such a physical world, whether it be wrestling, whether it be football, anything physical. They seem to suffer a lot from heart conditions.
I'm not sure if there's a connection, but I know that they get concussion after concussion after concussion, and just putting their bodies through, such strenuous workouts, and then in the ring, taking hits constantly, it takes effect on your body. And I've seen the wrestlers in the ring suddenly, they'll break their femur or, they're in there and their bicep is suddenly detached from their shoulder. It's just hanging on their forearm, right in the middle of a match. And it's, their body takes a beating. And all of these professional athletes, what people don't realize is it's not just at that moment in the game. They are working out and they're practicing and they're doing this 7 days a week, 7 days a week, 7 days a week. And it's just, over time, your body can't take it.
Yeah, it's just a stress. It's the stress on your body that eventually gives out in time. Tom Brady went ahead and he tweeted, he said, quote, "I'm so sad to wake up this morning to hear about the passing of my friend Demaryius Thomas. We were all blessed with his humility and positive spirit, and we will all miss him. This photo is from the Hall of Fame this past August, a source of light as always. Rest in peace." And I'm sure, like Tom Brady, many other former Broncos, many other former teammates, and even people that he went up against are very sorry to hear this. So condolences to him, to his family, and his loved ones during this very difficult time. In other news, so I got a question for you guys. Would you buy a $13,000 shoe? I mean,
no.
Absolutely.
Is that gold? Is it a little con?
Well, this is what's funny about this. It's New Balance. It's a shoe from New Balance. Of all, you think it was a Louis Vuitton, you think it was a Dolce, you think it was something. No, New Balance. New Balance has created a shoe that's worth $13,000 because it has a 4.5 million year old piece of meteorite that's been embedded in there. And that's the reason why it's cost so much, because of the meteorite that's embedded into the shoe. It's well, it's on TMZ. I actually got this off of TMZ. So they could go on TMZ. Anybody that's watching could go on TMZ.com and check out the shoe. This shoe, it's just a white sneaker. It's just a white sneaker, and it has the N where it says for the New Balance. Inside is where the meteorite is. I'm like, Midajah, would you buy? You wouldn't buy a shoe that's $13,000 for the meteorite that's 4.5 billion years old?
No.
There's no way.
No.
There's absolutely no way. I wouldn't do that.
But you know what? Young people, if they're really into that and this is what they're into, they're going to buy it. Or maybe some collector,
Well, that's what I was thinking. I mean, I've never understood the whole sneaker obsession, but I mean, there are people out there spending thousands and thousands of dollars on Jordans and on this and on that, just so they can have this giant collection. I have never cared. Truthfully, I just want a pair of shoes that are comfortable and that I can, I'm a Cali boy. I barely wear shoes anyway, so I have never cared that much.
With platforms, because I'm 5'1", and anything that makes.
Well, see, that makes a little more sense, but.
No, it's true.
I've just never understood the obsession, but like you said, I could see
probably could afford it. I mean, they could afford it. They could probably buy like 20 of them.
Oh yeah, but a sneaker connoisseur, somebody who's obsessed with that,
right.
Hey, they would probably buy it, and I'm not going to criticize. I mean, it's no different than somebody who loves cars or loves collectible instruments or whatever. If that's your thing and you've got the money and you're a collector, great, but it makes no sense to me.
No, it's tough. It's definitely tough. It's one of those situations where it's like
you can get it.
Yeah, it's one of those situations that's like, hell no. I mean, I'd rather spend that on other stuff. I'd rather just go to Vegas with that $13K or go wherever that bank teller went with the $13K. Just take that money and run with it, baby.
There are collectors out there. There are collectors that
there are.
They will. There's some Jordans out there that are really expensive, that are unique.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it's a big business. It is a big business.
Well, I mean, that shoe's out there, and yeah, it's insane. Well, that's the news. In case you haven't heard it, thank you so much for joining us. Want to give a big shout out, big thanks to MIDAJAH. And well, actually, before we leave, Jeremy, you have an event that you're going. You have a red carpet event tomorrow, for a very, very special cause. It's a Christmas event that you got going on, right?
Yeah, we're actually going to be at the Topanga Mall tomorrow for a toy drive, and it's going to be an awesome event. I think it's 3 hours from noon until 3 o'clock, and it's show up with a toy. For a toy donation, that's always been something that's been very big. I mean, even since I was young, and I mean, back doing the show when I was 8 and 9 years old, I regularly went to the Toys for Tots drive and all the other toy giveaways that we could do. And to see the smile on a kid's face when they get a toy they weren't expecting. I mean, I got to go multiple times to orphanages and foster homes and things like that and bring these presents to the kids and stuff. And when they don't expect anything, even the smallest thing makes them just light up. So it's always been one of my favorite type of charity events to get to do. And if you're in the Topanga area in Canoga Park, you want to come down to the mall, bring toy, bring it wrapped, please. And, come on down.
Yeah. Totally. Major shout out. Wanted to also give a major shout out to the person that is on this event, Holly. She's a publicist. She's actually doing this event. I invited Jeremy to come on through. And also, happy birthday to Holly. It is her birthday today, so major shout out to Holly.
Happy birthday, Holly.
And also a very special happy birthday to our soon-to-be boss on DAVI Radio Los Angeles, Davi Davenport. Happy birthday to you, Davi, as well.
Happy birthday, Davi.
Davi, happy birthday.
We all love you, Davi. So many happy returns. And also another wonderful thing that I wanted to throw out there as well is that it's no coincidence that MIDAJAH is joining us as a special guest co-host, because starting January 4th, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on DAVI Radio Los Angeles, she will be right next to me on the ride home with myself, Dave Navarro, and MIDAJAH Flores right here. She's going to go ahead and be joining me from 2 to 6 p.m. We're going to be like, we're going to be playing nothing but the best hits, everything from pop to rock, and it's just going to be a fun time with MIDAJAH right next to me on the ride home. And of course,
I'm so sorry, MIDAJAH. Truly. I already have to deal with him twice a week. You got to deal with him 3 times. I'm not. I feel pity for you, and if you ever need any help, getting him under control, just give me a call.
Thanks.
Thank you. And you guys, thanks so much for having me. You guys are so much fun, and this was really fun.
Oh, don't lie to him. Don't lie to him. Don't give him any. No le des cuerda. All right. Don't go ahead and pull a string. No.
I told him to be good.
Well, here's the other thing. Well, here's the other flip to that coin, Mr. Miller. You and I aren't going anywhere. Mondays and Fridays on DAVI Radio Los Angeles. Same bad time, same bad channel. Right here, the Navarro-Miller Report will be here Mondays and Fridays from 6 to 7 p.m. on the radio network. So make sure you watch out for that. I'm going to be on Monday through Friday. Me.
You got to.
I'm going to be freaking.
It's a good thing you have no life,
That hurts. That hurts a lot. I'm gonna leave it.
Got a little party shot.
Just gotta go ahead and jab it right in there. Just jab it all the way home, son. Just jab it all the way home. But other than that, I wanted to again thanks MIDAJAH. Yeah, no, don't be that guy. I wanted to again thanks MIDAJAH for joining us here today. And I got a question that many people are gonna wonder: how can people stalk you on social media?
They could go to beautybymidajah.com, or they can go to @beautybymidajah, or my new platform, Madness by MIDAJAH, where they can see all the fun art that I do.
Yeah, that's right, because you do actually do a lot of art on a lot of purses and a lot of shoes and stuff like that. So definitely go ahead and check her out there. Make sure you have a good time with that. But again, thank you so much for joining us. We will be back here again on Monday as usual. Unfortunately, I'm going to be here with, this guy because, God, why do I have to
You love it and you know it. You like the abuse.
That's my response to that. That's just my response to that.
Órale pues.
I'm just having way too much fun with this soundboard right now. It's like my new toy. I'm like having fun. Exactly. But anyways, I'm your host, Dave Navarro, along with this guy.
I'm Jeremy Miller.
We will see you again on Monday again. Same bat time, same bat channel. Make sure you be safe out there, everyone. Make sure you continue to wear your mask because we're still in a pandemic right now. And we're only 2 weeks away from, is it 2 weeks away? Is it? Yeah, it's 2 weeks away from Christmas already.
Oh, and
You know,
don't forget the mouthwash.
Don't forget the mouthwash. Because apparently that's important these days to make sure you battle against COVID. No, we are not promoting that. We're just kidding. We're not promoting that at all. But anyways, with that being said, we will see you all next time. Everybody have a great weekend, everyone.
You have been listening to the Navarro-Miller Report.